Hey everyone, in this video today, I will be teaching you guys how to win more solo matches in Season 9. With every new season, there's so much that changes that we're forced to adapt to how the game feels, and based on that, we determine how we play. For those of you who haven't gotten their first solo win in Season 9 yet, or maybe you're just looking to win more solo matches, you've come to the right spot. The gameplay you're seeing on screen is a 14 kill solo match I got. Be sure to watch the video all the way through and pick up on how I'm playing this game, because my playstyle will take you a long way this season. Enjoy the gameplay and comment down below. Tell me what your favorite spot to land at this season is, and with that being said, sit back, relax, and let me teach you some Fortnite. My first tip for you today is choose a strong loadout that you're comfortable with. There's a variety of weapons to choose from in Season 9, and since most of the weapons are pretty well balanced, whatever weapon you choose to add into your loadout will determine your playstyle. It's important to choose guns that you're comfortable with in your loadout. You should have a gun for the multiple scenarios that you will come across in every game. I personally like to play aggressive and get into fights with other players a lot. Because of this, I'll usually bring like an assault rifle, a tactical shotgun, and a blue or a gold SMG with me, and two types of heals that will fill green and blue health. You should choose weapons that will make you a more accurate and versatile player. It's important that the loadout you choose will help you dictate the fights you get into. In any fight with other players, you should always try to have the advantage over your enemies and let them know how fights will be fought. You never want to lose a fight because you chose a loadout not made for how you play. For example, if you don't play very aggressive and tend to be a little more passive, maybe choosing a drum gun over a shotgun or an SMG will be your best bet. Be sure to always choose a loadout that will grant you the advantage over your enemies every fight, and make sure that you're comfortable with the weaponry you're choosing. A weapon you decide to carry should not decrease your accuracy or be hard to use and affect you negatively as a player. We're going to move on to my second tip, which is going to be learning how to distance yourself from other players in fights you get into. Distancing yourself from other players in fights increases the chances of you hitting your shots if you have a hard time hitting shots from close range. Another huge aspect of distancing yourself in fights is being able to avoid getting shot and getting your shields broke and losing HP. Distancing allows for you to make offensive and defensive plays, as well as reacting to the third party when it inevitably comes your way. Even when you break your opponent's shields and make them a one-shot, you should still maintain your distance from them, however, still being in range for your SMGs and your shotguns to finish the job. When you make another player weak, there is no reason that they should ever be able to take a chunk of your health away from you. If you're too close, you risk taking damage that you shouldn't, and distancing yourself from your enemies will also increase your reaction time and help you make smarter plays. If your enemy makes an offensive play, you can react to this by defending against that offensive play. Just by having distance, you're increasing your field of vision and increasing the length of time you have to make correct decisions in fights. Accuracy and health go hand in hand in solo matches. These two aspects of being a great player can be achieved by correctly distancing yourself from other players, and distancing yourself is also a very important aspect in positioning. With this being said, if you feel you have poor positioning, learning how to use this aspect of the game can increase your overall positioning in game. We're going to move into my third tip, which is always be material rich. Too many players in Season 9 ignore the importance of farming materials, or just think that having 300 materials in total will be fine for future fights. Being material rich ensures that you never run out of materials, and this also means that if you know how to build pretty well, you'll be able to protect yourself from your enemy's bullets for a longer time, and will have many more options to choose from when you have over at least 500 materials of each category. I know it may seem boring, and some materials are harder to come by than others, but farming the little things will turn into larger things by the time you're finished. Since there's a lot of players who use the drum gun and SMGs more often, there's going to be a lot of builds that are broken just by the sheer power against structures that these weapons have. An important note to jot down is that the more materials you use, the less you'll have. Now, I know that seems pretty simple, right? Well, if it was, there'd be many more players that didn't overbuild and were smart with their materials and would have more overall. Too many of you guys are probably getting into build fights or using materials when you don't need to, especially the stronger materials such as brick or steel simply just to climb a mountain or make a rotation. If you farm stronger materials, it's going to be much harder for your opponents to make any play against you just because of the choice of material you're using. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, always be farming everything you you see. Try and clear out cities of all the potential material that they hold. It's better to take the time and farm materials than wish you hadn't when you have a really good chance of winning and you die because you didn't have enough materials. We're gonna move into my fourth tip, which is always keep your enemies guessing. How I win a lot of solo matches and many of my fights in general is I always keep my enemies wondering where I am and what my next move will be. This forces your enemy to make decisions they normally wouldn't do if they had control over the fight. Being sneaky and consistently moving is a great positioning play and keeps your enemies off guard, and this is another way to grant yourself the advantage and dictate fights over other players. You'll find more shots available to you and less shots available for your enemies, and you'll be able to retake high ground and give yourself the best positioning, all by moving around consistently. You don't want to be predictable, which is a huge part in losing fights. The more predictable you are, the more your opponent knows about what you'll do next. Always be consistently moving, be sneaky, look for shots that are going to knock a lot of health off your opponent, and never be predictable. Everything you were just taught in this video will help you guys win more solo matches in Season 9 and overall become a better player. I want you guys to practice solo matches as much as possible. They're by far the hardest game mode to win in Fortnite and will teach you a lot of individual skill. If you did make it this far in the video, comment the word baller for a chance to be featured in my next video. Use my code YTVerebus in the item shop, and I'll see you guys next time.